Okay, so we're picking up on our Stairway project, upgrading it to hardwood floors. And the second part of this project is to add tiles to the riser. So we're using Mexican and Spanish 6x6 tiles. As I explained in the previous video, that we were going to install Ditra. So I've just cut the Ditra pieces. It's those orange pieces that are sitting right there. I got them sitting in place. They haven't been installed. They're just sitting there to see, if I sized them correctly. So there's going to be some challenges in getting this done. Okay, this is my last step to do in my stairway, putting in this Ditra, and as you can tell, I already started putting on some thin set there, and then I'll trawl it. So that's a Ditra trawl. It has the exact notch size that you're looking for, and that's the modified thin set. And I'm going to do what they call buttering this. Usually you put the thin set on the floor or on the wall. But in this case, it's such a small area and you have beautiful wood steps already on. You don't want to have this stuff dropping and then you having to clean it up and possibly destroying your new wood treads. So I'm buttering this, and I'm going to put it on that last step. Okay, so I just put on the last strip of Ditra on that bottom step. I barely got in within the 2-hour limit on the thin set. It was starting to get hard, so I made it just in time. That's a lot of work. If all this works, which I believe it will, I have an engineering background. However, I don't have experience when it comes to this construction type of work, except for electrical. Building construction is definitely not in my bailiwick, but I know how to read instructions and I know how to read engineering specifications, and this Ditra, along with this very flexible thin set mortar, should be able to handle any movement that is experienced on each step. Again, the key word is should. I couldn't find anything on the internet, so using this, in fact, most contractors don't want to do tiles on risers because they do crack and they have unhappy customers. So we'll see how this works out. I'm fairly confident it will, but proof will be in the pudding after I install it, and then it has to go through the test of time. But I think I'm the first one who's ever used Ditra on risers to float tiles on it. Okay, we are back, and so we're picking up for where we left off, and I just wanted to mention what I did with these spacers. So if you take a closer look, you see these little spacers right here, these white ones right here. Those were just 1/16 T spacers. I couldn't find, not T, X, I'm sorry, regular spacers, they're the X looking spacers. I couldn't find T spacers in that size. The gray ones that you see right there, that gray one is a T spacer, but that's 1/8. So really you have to play with this to make sure the top of the tiles are level. These are not American-made tiles, so they're not cut to size. You'll find that they vary in size and width, length, but if you play around with it, you can get these, as you can tell, as straight as you need it. I used those 1/16 to prop the tiles away from the stair tread. Why did I do that? I want these tiles to float on the Ditra behind it. I want the least amount of load on these in order for us to help prevent the transference of motion to these tiles, thus cracking them. So I've done everything I can. The thin set is the most flexible I could find. The mortar, the unmodified mortar I used to apply the tiles, they're as flexible as you can get it. And now what I'm trying to do is make sure that the tread does not sit on top of the tile and the tile does not sit on the back of the tread here. So that's what these spacers are for, in addition to making sure you have the right gap. Now the gap between the tiles here, I'm using 1/8. So the 1/8 X, as you can tell, the white X, to get you the right grout line, size grout line in there. And that's it. Okay, so all the tiles have been applied on my stairway project. These are simply beautiful. So, give you a closer look there. Come on down. You can see all this. Only thing I have left to do is I need to put the trim on the left and right edges. I've got 3 more small pieces I've got to put on the left or right of some of these rows here. You can see it right here, one there, and there's one other place where the left and right, the molding on the left and right won't cover. But this is going to be beautiful. I'll be using, of course, a finishing nailer, using a compressor nail gun, finishing gun. But this is almost done. I also have to grout this. So underneath the lip here, there's a little gap between the top of the tile and the tread. And so what we got is some special caulking that is the same color as the grout that we've started putting between the tiles here. It's from the same company, and it's a design that they have where they actually design caulking, very flexible caulking for moving parts, while also providing strength and sharing the load. So it's some really good stuff from what I've heard, and it matches the color of the grout line, the grout that you put between the grout lines here. So I still have to put in the grout. Some of this has been grouted from the first set of tiles that I put in while I was waiting for the replacement tiles, as we discussed earlier. Yeah, I had 3 more steps to go, but in my project. But for all practical purposes, this project is done. So hopefully you found this video helpful. I can tell you that after I had this done, we had a brand new bedroom suite delivered, and 2 very large young men carried extremely heavy furniture up the stairway, and not one tile cracked. So looks like whatever I've engineered here actually works well, and hopefully now people will find some confidence in tiling their risers in their homes using the Schluter Ditra solution. Again, I think this is the first time anyone's ever used Ditra for risers on a stairway, but the Ditra is a uncoupling membrane that's designed just for this type of application. So anyways, enjoy, and hopefully you do something similar that matches your taste. Take care.